The Marc Berman Radio Show is for mature and immature audiences.
Hello. Is this on?
Welcome to the best of the Marc Berman Radio Show. This is my 2012 interview with RyMo, Ryan Moran, from the band Slightly Stoopid. And keep in mind, as you listen to the interview, this took place in 2012. Enjoy.
With 8 albums, including their latest Top of the World, Slightly Stoopid is a band that fuses folk, rock, reggae, and blues with hip-hop, funk, metal, and punk, making them one of the most unique bands on the planet. Please welcome Ryan Moran, RyMo, from Slightly Stoopid. Ryan, welcome to the Marc Berman Show. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me, Mark.
Listen, when this band started, it was a duo. It was Miles and Kyle, and now they're slightly bigger. How did you get involved, and how did this evolution take place?
Yeah, it's been the band's been steadily growing. Definitely since I've been aboard for about the last 9 years. When I joined, it was a 4-piece, and since then we managed to acquire a couple horn players as well as a keyboard player. It's been a kind of an interesting process to have a couple new guys and a lot more musical input.
Now, this band has a lot of people that kind of sit in. And you have an unofficial 8th member in Carl Denson. Now, when he sits in, do you guys begin at midnight? And how'd you hook up with him?
That's a good question. Carl has been, we've been kind of rubbing shoulders with him for years because he's a San Diego local and San Diego native. And so we'd seen him, back in the day with Grey Boy All-Stars. And, of course, he played with Lenny Kravitz, among others. And basically, we've always been a fan of his music, and so when we had a chance to have him come sit in a couple years back in San Diego, it was just super fun, and everyone was smiling, and just felt right.
And of course,
he's great.
Of course, he only plays at midnight. That's that's his MO. Hey, listen, I read at the beginning the way people classify this group. Now, and I'm sure you've heard that many, many times. Well, that's every type of music except classical. So how would you put the band? I hear the reggae influence. That I absolutely hear. But how would you classify this group? And if you can't, that's a good thing. That makes you even more unique.
Yeah, I think you pretty much hit it on the head. I mean, we do try to jump around to quite a few different styles of music, and all of us have grown up listening to so much different stuff, from roots to punk to, dance hall to jazz to world to classical, everything in between. So pretty much nowadays when we have an idea of a song, direction, if we're working in the studio or something, everyone can, kind of knows how to speak the language, so to speak, per that genre. So if we're trying to go in a hip-hop direction, one of the guys will say, hey, let's try to spin it this way or spin it that way. And so we really try to make an effort to make each style really sound legitimate, not like we're only able to do one style and we fake everything else. We try to really dig into each style and make it fun, try to give the audience a good ride that way.
How'd the name come about?
The name came about back in the day. I actually wasn't even there yet. Miles and Kyle were probably about 16 years old and was hanging out with a couple of friends and, tossing names around, and basically everyone, someone said, like, how about Slightly Musical? And someone said, oh, that's Slightly Stoopid, and everyone laughed. That became the band name. So it wasn't something that was, planned or anything like that. It was just, a bunch of kids sitting around a room laughing, basically. And the name stuck, and we're still doing it 20 years later. So. Yeah,
but a bunch of talented kids. Everybody in this band is absolutely awesome on their own merit. Are drums your first instrument?
Yeah, I've been playing drums for, about 25 years, and I also play some piano and didgeridoo and tabla and all kinds of other weird instruments. But yeah, drums are kind of my main passion for sure. Okay,
so you're endorsed by Pearl.
Yes.
But your first drum set, got on, it's coming to me. I'm trying to think, is it Ludwig or Slingerland? Come on, it has to be one of those two. Come on, what was it?
That's funny. I got my first drum set was like a Rogers.
Oh, Rogers, of course. Oh, man.
Yeah. So that was kind of my first one, and then it was, kind of a beater I bought from a friend, and then I bought a Pearl. Actually, was my second drum kit, and that thing lasted me forever. And then thankfully I'm endorsed by them now.
And it's a pretty damn good endorsement to have, man.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, the drums sound really great. Love working with them for sure.
Who influences you, and how do you feel about Tower of Power?
Oh, man, huge influence. I actually studied with a guy in Northern California by the name of Mark Smith.
I know.
And, okay, so you know all that. So he studied with David Garibaldi.
Yeah.
So Garibaldi was a huge influence. I got a ton of stuff, kind of secondary hand-me-down stuff from my teacher that was studying directly with Dave. And, huge influence, amazing skill for sure.
When you come out to see Slightly Stoopid, wherever they are on tour, you're going to really, really be in for a treat. You play over 180 shows a year globally. Is there a venue that you played that's actually a RyMo pinch me moment, saying, damn, I can't believe I just played this state. This was like a dream come true. Is there one of those, or is there a place that you're looking forward to playing?
There's a few. I mean, probably the top two that have been, those sort of pinch me moments were definitely playing Red Rocks and also Central Park in New York. I mean, those are two landmark venues, and we had the opportunity to play Central Park once, and we actually are banned from there now, so that's kind of funny. And Red Rocks is a place we've been going back to pretty consistently about every summer for the last 5-6 years. So those are both, everyone under the sun that's of legendary status has played at those two venues, and so those are kind of the ones that I kind of hold dearest.
And that's so interesting because I had Ian Anderson on the show last week, and he talked as one of his favorite places was Red Rocks, as was Dave Davies, and but I can't think of. But it comes up quite a bit, and I've been there. I saw Moody Blues in Denver, and it is. It's a very unique facility. I don't think there's quite anything like it on the planet.
Yeah, it's just beautiful, and you have you can see the skyline of Denver when you're sitting up at the top of the venue, looking down the stage. Just beyond the stage, there's this skyline off in the distance, about 30 miles, and it's just breathtaking. It's cut into all those rocks up in there, and been there for 100 years or so. So it just carries this kind of mystique that is kind of unmatchable.
Berman breaking in. This is my 2012 interview with RyMo, Ryan Moran, from Slightly Stoopid. And now, back to RyMo.
Well, you got 8 albums out, 2 live albums. What's next for Slightly Stoopid? You guys working on anything? I don't know how you can. You're playing almost every night, but
yeah,
Yeah,
we just released the Top of the World record, of course. That came out a couple months back. So now that that's out, we're basically touring on that for the next 12 to 18 months, more or less. And we got a ton of music that we haven't put out yet that we recorded for this last record. So we've got a lot of good stuff there that we're going to be starting to sift through here. And basically, once we get through this next tour, we're going to have a little bit of downtime. So I'm sure Kyle and Miles, myself, and the other boys are going to try to get down in the studio and start, rehashing out some new ideas.
Okay, now, final question. The best beach you ever surfed on was where?
The best beach I ever surfed.
Yeah.
That's a question. Probably the most exotic, I guess, for me would be somewhere in Australia. We went down there last April, and that was a really amazing experience because I'd never been there. Grown up surfing, and it's been a huge part of my life. And to make it over there, where so many pros and so many of the top surfers come from, that was really a cool experience. So I have to say, somewhere over there would be probably some of my favorite places to be.
This is Ryan Moran. He's RyMo from Slightly Stoopid. And, hey, Ryan, you're the best, man. I appreciate the interview.
No problem, Mark.
RyMo from Slightly Stoopid on the Marc Berman Show.
The Marc Berman Show is always on. Go to marcberman.com for our podcasts of our past shows and interviews.